Hey y'all, welcome to Kenny's Cantina. I hope y'all are enjoying your summer so far. I know I am. Summer's my favorite time of year. So my sister came up from Alabama and spent a couple weeks with me. We had a great time, and it's really cool. We got this great system. I cook and she cleans. So that's always helpful in my book. Her first food request was my breakfast tacos. She loves them. So you can find my recipe for breakfast tacos back in season 1. While she was here, we got a chance to run up to Syracuse, New York, and drove over to Corning, New York to visit the Corning Glass Museum. Had a great time. It was a great trip, and I always love to have fun on road trips. I also took her up not too far from here to New Hope and Peddler's Village along the Delaware River. New Hope is this great little river town with great restaurants and shops. Check it out if you get up to eastern Pennsylvania. In summer, I'm always looking for fresh dishes, and I think Thai dishes really fit this. So today we're going to make a Thai dish. I love the freshness and flavors of Thai dishes, sweet with a touch of heat, and this is my take on Thai coconut pineapple chicken stir fry. I know it's a mouthful. This is a light, sweet, spicy dish that's quick to make, and it's great for summer dinner. The rice sticks make the stir-fry filling and are much lighter than traditional pasta dishes would be with noodles. And I prefer rice sticks in stir-fry over putting it over rice because the noodles absorb all the great flavors of the stir-fry as you're cooking it. You and your family and guests will love this dish. I know my friends around the RV park do. Just ask Jason if you join me for dinner. And although my sister wasn't around to do dishes, Jason is a great substitute. Also want to thank Capital City Mambo Sauce for sending me some of their sauces to try. They work great for this dish. Let's get cooking. So prep time for the stir fry is about 15 minutes. Cooking time about 30 minutes. The recipe today will serve 4 to 6 people. You can refrigerate leftovers for about a week, but I wouldn't recommend freezing this. The rice noodles won't hold up to it. Ingredients, you're going to need 2 chicken breasts, 1 red bell pepper, 1/2 large sweet onion, a half a bunch of green onions, 1 ounce can of chunk pineapple, drained, 1 cup of Capital City Mambo sauce. Today I'm using the sweet hot version. 1 cup of coconut milk, 1 package of rice sticks, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. So first off, let's start preparing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chicken breasts and I am going to cut those into bite-sized pieces. Makes it a lot easier to eat when you can just pick up a bite with your chopsticks or fork. Okay, get those chopped up. My personal taste is I prefer chicken breast. I like white meat in chicken. So let me put this in a bowl. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take toasted sesame seed oil and I'm going to add that on top of the chicken. And let me add soy sauce now. We're going to put that on the chicken. And then the minced garlic. I love the smell of garlic. Let's put that on there. Okay. And let me mix this up. And basically what I'm doing here is making a marinade for the chicken, just so the chicken can pick up some of those flavors while I'm cutting the other veggies. All right, I got that mixed well now. Let me set that aside. Next, I'm going to take the bell pepper, cut it in half, and cut the stem and pull the seeds out. And then I'm going to slice this into 1/4-inch slices, and then go back with the knife and just cut them in half. And those will be ready to go. Let's put those to the side. Now I'm going to take my half an onion, and I'm going to just slice 1/4-inch slices down. I'm not going to bother to separate or anything on this. I'm not going to dice those down any farther. And then when I cook it, they'll loosen up and they'll be great for eating. So let me put that aside. And the green onions, Let me cut off the roots there. And then I'm going to cut this into 2-inch pieces, just real quick. All right, and put that aside. So all our veggies are cut now. The next step is the pineapple. Let me get my can open here. I'm going to open up the can of pineapple. And I'm going to dump that into my strainer so we can drain those pineapple juices out of there. And I'm just going to let that set. It'll be ready when we're ready for it. Next, I'm going to get the measuring cup, and I'm going to pour out 1 cup of coconut milk in that. Looks like a cup to me. Set that aside. Today, I'm using Sweet Hot Capital City Mambo sauce for a little spicier dish. I have made this with the mild version of their sauce, and it's great as well. It just doesn't have quite as much kick to it. So let me measure out the Capital City Mambo sauce. I need a cup of that. And okay, we'll set that aside. All right, I went to an Asian market the other day and I picked up fresh rice sticks to use today. If you use the dried rice sticks, you'll need to boil them for 3 minutes at this point and drain and set them aside. But today with the fresh rice sticks, I don't have to do that. So now our prep's all done. It's now time to cook. Now in this dish, I do all the prep first because the stir fry cooks fairly quickly and you don't want to be stopping and chopping as you go. So I do everything ahead of time. And then I'm going to fire up my wok here, warm up the wok. Okay, and I'm going to put some sesame oil in the wok and let that heat up. And the woks heat up pretty quick. So let me get that oil around. Give that just a second to heat up. And then the first thing we're going to add to this is garlic. Putting the wok on medium heat, I can see it starting to smoke a little bit, so let me put a little bit of garlic in. Oh yeah, it's got a good sizzle, so I'm going to throw the rest of this in and get it toasting. Yeah, you can hear that sizzle and that smell of the garlic roasting with the oil. Smells good. Smells good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chicken. Going to take my bowl, add the chicken to this, and I'm going to start stirring this, getting this brown. You can hear that chicken sizzling in there. And this is going to take about 5 minutes for the chicken to brown, and so I'll be back with you in 5. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. The chicken's nice and brown. It's smelling really good with that soy sauce and the sesame and the garlic. So now let me go ahead and add the red bell pepper and the sweet onion. Get that in there and let me stir that around. Okay. And I kind of add the ingredients in the order that I want them to cook for consistency. And we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes. One thing with the wok to keep things from burning, even though I'm on medium to low heat, you want to stir this often. Let me toss that some. So, okay, let's give this 5 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes and the veggies are still a little crisp, which is good. So let's add the green onions to that. And let me take the pineapple that was draining and add that. And let me stir that around. Okay, got it mixed up good. And we're going to let this cook for another 5 minutes. Everything's in 5-minute intervals here today, folks. So I'll be back with you in 5. All right, this is really smelling good. You can smell that pineapple and all those, the garlic and all that. God, I love it. First, I'm going to add the Sweet Hot Capital City Mambo sauce. Let me put that in. Mix that in. Get that spread around onto all the goodies, all the veggies. And now I'm going to take the coconut milk and add that and stir. Okay. Now, when you pour the coconut milk in, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I have way too much milk. And don't worry about it. It's going to be absorbed by the rice sticks when we add those in a little bit. So now I'm going to bring this and let this come to a boil. And I'm going to keep stirring here periodically, but I'm going to bring it to a boil. This will take about another 5 minutes. So let's let it boil before we add the rice noodles. All right, got a nice boil on it now. So I'm going to take the rice noodles and put that in, and I'm going to stir this. It'll start absorbing that excess coconut milk. Okay, keep it mixed well. And like I said, especially at this stage, you want to keep stirring it quite often so that those noodles then don't stick as they absorb that liquid and you lose that liquid. And we're going to do this for 5 minutes. So I'll be back in 5. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, all the coconut milk has been absorbed. So I'm going to turn off that heat, move the wok over, let that cool down some. Boy, that smells so good. It's really fragrant in here. And one of the things I've had neighbors always say when I cook, even with if I have my door closed with the exhaust hood going, they can smell and they're going, what is he cooking today? So, all right, let me grab a taste of this. Chicken and some pineapple. Some noodle on that. That is so good. What great flavor. It's a great blend of spicy and sweet. And that pineapple still has a crunch to it. When you bite down into it, it's a really cool texture. So, Jason, let's eat, man. I like to use chopsticks when I eat. Jason's not quite that brave, though. He's going to use a fork. But if his smile's any indication, he likes my concoction. So, tips on this. Now, I marinated the chicken while I prepped the other ingredients. You can marinate this longer if you wish, which will allow all the flavors to more penetrate the chicken. And then, as I mentioned before, prepping all the ingredients before you get cooking is the way to go. You should stir this dish often, so having everything prepared is a lot more efficient. Now, for the Capital City Mambo sauce, you can order that from their website, capitalcity.com, or you can also find it on Amazon. Today I used the sweet hot capital sauce for the dish. Their mild sauce also works if you don't like too much spice. And one other little tip there on the sauce, when you taste the sweet hot, it may taste a little spicy for you, but when you add that coconut milk, it actually kind of alleviates some of that heat. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're brave and like a lot of heat, you can add some Thai chilies during the cooking process. This will really bump it up a notch. If you don't have the Capital City Mambo sauce or can't get it, you can substitute a Thai chili sauce that you can find in your grocery store in this recipe. When you add that coconut milk, you may be worried on that liquid, but don't worry, it will get absorbed. Just be patient with it, let it boil, and as you're cooking, it'll all get absorbed into your noodles. Rice sticks can be found in the Asian section of most grocery stores, the dried ones, or you can find fresh at an Asian market. Both will work. If you do use a dry stick, remember you'll need to boil them for about 3 minutes and drain before you add them to the stir fry. And if you don't have a wok, you can always use a large deep-sided saucepan for your stir fry. So I hope you enjoy making this dish. It's refreshing, light, and so flavorful. Now, before we get to the mailbox, I want to call y'all's attention to the fact that Kenny's Kantina is celebrating its first anniversary of the broadcast. It all started with me running into Chi of IBC Productions over breakfast at an RV park in the Black Hills over in South Dakota. Our breakfast conversation led to the first episode of Kenny's Kantina, my 2-minute salsa. Today's episode is my 19th. Wow, I can't believe it. Thank you, Chi and IB Productions, and all that you do to get this video podcast up and out to the viewers around the world. It wouldn't be possible without your expertise. I also want to thank you, loyal viewers, for cooking with me over the past year. Your feedback and support make the show worth all the effort that goes into it. This show is a labor of love that I do for y'all, so thank you so much for watching. Now, based on the feedback from my pimento cheese episode, it sounds like y'all really liked it. I'm glad you did. It's so tasty, rich, and a great twist on pimento cheese. So let's get to today's mail. First, we hear from Jaden from Louisiana. He says, Kenny, I grew up in the South, and pimento cheese, which is commonly and lovingly referred to as the caviar of the South, is very popular down here. I gotta say, your recipe by far is the best I've ever had. I loved it so much, I even put it on a cheeseburger like you did. Wow, incredible. But with that being said, down here in Louisiana, you might want to add some hot sauce. In other areas, if it's standard to add onions and garlic, go for it. I added them too. However you prepare it, there's no doubt that your pimento cheese is uniquely the best concoction. Great job, man. Jaden, thanks for your kind words. It is surprisingly good on a burger. There's several ways you can tweak the recipe, but at the heart of it, my recipe, I think, is golden. Thanks again, Jaden. Now, Donna from Texas said, Kenny, I fell in love with your spread. It was quick and easy to make and was a big hit at our sit-down, pass-the-dish campfire night. But I do have a question for you. I didn't use up the second jar of pimentos that I opened. I only used 1.5 jars. Do you know how long a jar of pimentos lasts after opening? Donna, I'm glad the pimento cheese was a hit around the campfire. I love giving people a taste and seeing the surprise in their eyes when they try it. The flavor really is a surprise. Leftover pimentos, if kept in the juice, will last a long time in the fridge. Their staying power is comparable to pickles and olives, so I would say at least a month. Donna, thanks for trying my recipes and keep watching. Now here's an interesting one from Mac in Denver, Colorado. Kenny, what kind of mayonnaise do you use in your spread? I figured you would use a top name brand rather than a substitute off brand. Well, Mac, thanks for your question. A lot of people in the South swear by Duke's mayonnaise, but you can only find it in parts of the South. So for me, I only use Hellmann's mayonnaise. I enjoy the taste of it, and it's widely available. I can find it wherever I'm at in the country. So thanks again for your question, Mac. Now, Carol from New York gives us insight and talks to us about the history of pimento cheese. Here's what she says. Kenny, I love your show. Wait for each episode to air. The one unique perspective that you approach in your shows is the history or origin or project that you talk about as you answer questions. So here's one for you. Did you know that pimento cheese spread started out in New York State as a way for food manufacturers to sell cream cheese? The original base of pimento cream cheese was relatively new, and pimento peppers were being shipped to the U.S. from Spain, where they were canned and sold in stores. Finally, in the early 1900s, Good Housekeeping published an article that suggested creating a sandwich filled with a mixture of cream cheese, pimentos, mustard, and a few other ingredients. And this is where the pimento cheese craze started. P.S. I made yours, and yours is far fresher and much more of a rich flavor after refrigerated for a day than any store-bought brand. Thanks, and I hope you can use this. Carol, thanks for your historical comment, and I'm glad you enjoyed my pimento cheese recipe. So I did some research. The first recipe came out in Good Housekeeping magazine in 1908. And you are correct, pimento cheese did come out of the North, but after about 1910, farmers in the state of Georgia started planting pimentos and marketing them throughout the South. And so began the South's love of pimento cheese. Now, Carol, I'm a professor, and I access my university's library database looking for the original recipe so I could make it. Unfortunately, for Good Housekeeping, I could only go back as far as 1913. Bummer. However, I did find the list of ingredients without the amounts. So the original recipe called for cream cheese, mustard, chives, and pimentos. It also encouraged people to try other spices to create their own versions. When I saw mustard in this list of ingredients, I thought they were talking about mustard we put in sandwiches. And French's yellow mustard came out about 1904. But after some thought, I realized they were talking about the spice. So then the question became, should I use mustard powder or mustard seeds? I decided on being old-fashioned and grinding up mustard seeds. So I whipped up a batch to give it a try. It tastes good. The mustard seed gives it a little kick, and you can really taste the pimentos. I went ahead and I didn't drain the pimentos from the juice to make the pimento cheese easier to spread. The taste is very different than mine and other contemporary pimento cheese recipes, but it was good to go old school and see where it all began. And I did give some people a taste, and they liked it too. So if you want to try it, I used 8 ounces of cream cheese that I softened, 1 4-ounce jar of diced pimentos with the liquid, a 1/4 cup of diced chives, and 2 teaspoons of fresh ground mustard seeds. And that's all it is to it. So, Carol, I'm glad you liked my little history lessons. It was fun researching and trying to recreate the original recipe. So thanks to all of you who wrote in, and I'm glad you all enjoyed the show. It's grilling season, and my next episode will spice up your grilling. We'll be making a fresh, quick, easy chimichurri sauce. It can be used as a flavorful marinade and a great addition on steaks and chicken, and one of my friends even loved it on tomato slices. Heck, it's even good as a salsa. My chimichurri is a big hit around the RV park, and it lasts a long time in the fridge. So keep an eye out for my chimichurri coming soon to a grill near you. So thanks for cooking with me on Kenny's Kantina. A big shout out to my sponsors, Capital City Mambo Sauce. It was a great addition to my Thai coconut pineapple chicken stir fry. Also thanks to IBC Productions and the Road Hogs Media Network for getting my shows out there. Don't forget to check out my website for all my episodes and recipes, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for a great first year. See y'all on the road.